My first experience with officiating was when I was actually in high school, playing high school ball at J.B. Pennington High School in Blunt'sville, Alabama. And at that time, we had a teacher that was a high school basketball official. And so when my season ended, he took me with him to the tournaments and everything else and created a real interest. So that was my first experience in officiating. In 1972, I was president of our high school association. And the High School Athletic Association forced us to merge with the Black Officials Association. And the head of the Black Officials Association happened to be a guy named famous Cap Brown, great friend of mine, fortunately, before then. So Cap and I had looked at each other and we said, we got to make this work. And it was a tough time. I mean, we lost people on both sides, just quit. They said, no. So Cap and I looked at each other and he says, we got to make something, we got to impact this. And fortunately, we did. We were able to do that. His first suggestion was, he said, I will take an all-black officiating crew to an all-white game, and you take an all-white officiating crew to an all-black game. And we sort of mixed that in a little bit and made it work, but one of the most memorable things that ever stuck out in my mind for the good of high school officiating. Probably working 15 major postseason games. And the ironic thing about it is none of the 15 games were the same bowl games. They were all different bowl games. Some of them out of business now, but it was great from working all the major bowl games. That was great. And being able to work with some of the greatest officials in the world. Greatest reward from officiating would have to be the camaraderie and the relationship that you have made with your fellow officials. Being a military man, I always equate some of our more dangerous exercises going into some of the most dangerous stadiums in the world. And I equate my fellow officials with my soldiers, that I looked around and said, there's just us, and there's the enemy. Not really, but when you think about it, when you walk into Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, there's 107,000 people who care how the ball game comes out. And there's 8 of us that don't care how the ball game comes out. So those guys you learn to be very, very close to, so that's the important thing. The person who gave me my greatest break in collegiate officiating was a guy named Jim Lester. He was one of our high school officials, and he became head of the Gulf South Conference. And the Gulf South Conference was a great conference in those days. It had schools like Jacksonville State and Troy and some really great people, still is a great conference. And he gave me my first opportunity as a collegiate official, and I worked there for about 5 years before the SEC accepted me. Enjoy the level of officiating where you are. Enjoy it. Don't worry about advancing. It'll find you. You don't have to find it. Just have the it factor in what you do at your level and enjoy it. And some of us that's involved in collegiate athletics will come find you. One of the things that is really important to this is number one, a group of your peers selected you for this honor, and that's ultra important. and coming in with a class with a lot of people you know and respect, and great friends, close friends coming in, that's important. But the most important thing is being part of the inaugural class, being the first one in this, and it's a great honor for me.